Hello and welcome to Cooking Time. I'm David Martone, Executive Chef at Classic Time Cooking School here in Westfield, New Jersey. And tonight we're going to do some pasta dishes. I'm going to have three great dishes for you. One is going to have some wonderful grilled vegetables. Another one has, it's like kind of a ragu with sausage and fennel. And the third one is kind of a mishmash that I just developed out of stuff I had laying around in the refrigerator. So we'll be right back and we'll start the show. We'll have a great time with three new pasta dishes. Hello, welcome to Cooking Time. Well, we're back with our three new pasta dishes. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff going on at the same time, so bear with me because I'll probably screw a bunch of stuff up, but you know what? This is what happens at home. And the first thing I'm going to do is get something ready for our pasta con la Norma. Actually, this dish is thought to be made up by a chef in commemoration of Bellini's opera Norma. So we have some eggplant that I cut up and some red onion. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. I've got a grill pan going, a little salt and pepper, and we'll get this stuff grilling as we get everything else together for our other two dishes. And we'll have be like a juggling act here. So let me fire up my grill a little bit more, get a little bit more olive oil around on my dishes. I'm going to put some red onion and a bunch of eggplant, and we'll have that grilling on the side while we're doing everything else. Pasta. Make a lot of pasta. It's not that I eat a tremendous amount of pasta at one time. It's just that I like pasta as a main or a side. So many times when I'm doing other things, I'll have a pasta as well. So let's just get these eggplants nicely laid out on here. You can also roast these on a pan in the oven, but that wouldn't be any fun for you to see. Let's see how much of this I can actually fit in this pan. A little piece of onion. Okay, we're just starting to build up a little bit of sizzle. These dishes are great any time of year. Eggplant you can always get, so this isn't a dish that's always such a seasonal dish. A few little scraps of onion, we'll put this off to the side. Okay, so that's going to start cooking and we can get some other dishes going. Little olive oil in this one. And we're using regular olive oil. I don't like to saute in extra virgin olive oil. This is the dish that I said is kind of like a ragu. I have a half a bulb of fennel here, and these are actually called the fronds. Sometimes we cut those off and we save them and use them as garnish. I'm actually going to put them right up here and use them perhaps later for something else. Maybe not in this show, but maybe just for something I'll whip up later. I'm going to just dice up some of this fennel. Fennel is like a celery consistency, and I'm always amazed that there are some people who've never tasted it. It really has a licorice flavor. If you've ever had the liqueur anisette, anise seed is the same flavoring as this fennel. So we're going to put this right in over here. We have a little bit of celery. I'm going to split my celery down and split it a little bit more. When you have a fat piece and you cut it in half, you cut that fat piece one more, just a little bit, so everything when you chop it up like this will be the same size. So as you get further up the stalk gets thinner, and when you're at the bottom, you need to make a little bit more of a slice to even that out. This is a great dish. It has a lot of vegetables, does have a meat in it. We are going to add some sausage to it. If you notice when I'm putting this in, I'm using the back of my knife so that I'm not making the knife dull. So many people want to scrape with the knife. Let's just take a look and see. Okay, these are all coming nice. Let these go a little bit more. We have some carrots, some onions, some garlic. This dish actually came out of a recipe contest that I judged. I got the idea for this from one of the submissions. And actually, this probably could have easily won on its own merits, except there were some rules about origin and mixing of cultures, and this was strictly an Italian dish, this one with the fennel. Actually was submitted by a woman who, I forget her name, but I believe she is a New Jersey opera singer up in the, up toward Chester area. And it was such a wonderful recipe that I took some bits and pieces of it and kind of put my own twist on it. But certainly it's a wonderful recipe that I highly recommend. And as always, if you email me, I'll send you recipes via email for anything that we're cooking. Even the stuff that I ad-lib, I can quickly put a recipe together for that. So here's our carrot. We want to get these vegetables a little bit tender. Put this and this over here. And we have a little bit of garlic. Just going to flatten this garlic out and then chop through it to get a coarse chop. This is a great dish to do ahead. Warms up very nicely, freezes well. I am using a pork sausage with a brand that I actually grew up with when I grew up in Jersey City. The brand of sausage I'm using is Appetito. And not because I'm advertising Appetito for any compensation reason. It's a brand that I highly recommend. It's a very good brand. And they were right in Union City, so I knew them well when I was in Jersey City, and we always used to look for a Appetito brand as a kind of a sign of quality. We knew their product worked well and tasted well, and it was a great product. Okay, so we're going to let that cook a little bit. Now we're going to get another one going. This is the one that I kind of ad-libbed. First thing I'm going to do is put some pancetta. Pancetta is an Italian unsmoked bacon. So we want to get that toasting around a little bit. See, my eggplant and onion is starting to get a little bit more tender. I'll start flipping some of that. Oh yeah, that's working nicely. See, the eggplant is starting to get tender. Onion is starting to soften up a bit as well. This will actually be put together with the last dish we're going to do. I also have some pine nuts here that I'm toasting very slowly in a pan. The reason I'm doing it that way is because I can never do it in the oven. I always burn them, always. So, back to my eggplant here. And I'm actually going to spin this pan around a little bit. I'm a little bit tight on space, so that'll help me even out. We have our pancetta here starting to sizzle, and for this one, I'm going to add some garlic and some onion with that pancetta. Oop, I think I lost one clove. My uncle used to say, well, I leave it there, the cat will get it. Note to self, get cat to get scraps from floor. See, if I were doing this at home, my two little miniature pinchers, weighing out at about 8 or 9 pounds, would devour it before it hits the ground. But the only problem is if we were doing this at home, you'd see these little heads bouncing up because they wouldn't leave me alone. Anytime there's food out, they're scavenging and begging for whatever they can get. They bark and they jump by me when I'm cooking because they know there's a possibility something may fall. but they never bother me at the dinner table. Only my wife, because my wife is the only one that feeds them at the dinner table. See, pancetta is from the belly, and it is a bacon cut. So when you look at it rolled up, you can, when it's sliced, you can actually unroll it and see the shape of bacon. But it's cured and not smoked. So it's a very different flavor than the bacon we're used to, but it has a very similar consistency, and it does have a really nice, nice flavor and works well. Our other vegetables here are getting nice and tender, and now that our pancetta is crisping up a little, I'm going to add the onion and the garlic. Toss that around, then I can chop some onion and garlic for my last dish, which is the pasta con la Norma. So many of these dishes have all kinds of background stories, and it's interesting to see how the food connects to so many other things, whether it's pizza margherita, celebrating the birthday of Queen Margherita, and creating a symbol of the Italian flag with the red, white, and green, or if it's this particular dish with the connection to Bellini, or bechamel sauce named after Louis de Bechamel. Everything has its origins, and boy, wouldn't you love to be the person that something as popular as pizza margherita was created to celebrate something that you did, or your birthday. So a lot of similar ingredients. Onion, garlic, tomatoes in several of these. And we're simply putting them together with a few other flavoring items. So, a little more olive oil here in the last one. See, at home you probably won't have this much going on, unless you're a good Italian mother or Italian father that cooks everything for everybody, whatever they want. Growing up, we saw so many of my relatives and friends' parents cooking multiple things just because, one person likes it one way and one likes it another. And, it's really a wonderful thing when you have somebody taking such good care of you to go that far and wide to do all these wonderful things. Look at these onions, they're just beautiful. And the eggplant is nice, getting tender. So I know I don't always talk about timing and to date the shows, but it is the end of the summer here. Not that it makes a difference with what we're doing, but I always get a little melancholy at the end of the summer. I'm a warm weather guy. I wish it would stay warm most of the year. I'd have no problem coming back to visit snow. I'm going to slice up some mushrooms. So these are pretty big, so I'm simply slicing them in half, and then I'm going to cut them across. These are white button mushrooms, and the stems aren't too long, so they're really not dry. And I'm going to just slice them up this way. Probably always look like I'm making a tremendous mess when I'm cooking. I don't lose all that much. Everything's going good, nothing's burning, that's good. These are wonderful dishes to be creating, whether it's cold or warm. this Ragu sauce is one that has fresh, vibrant flavors with the fennel and the celery and carrot, but it also is a wonderful dish when it's cool weather. It's just one of those kind of comfort food dishes. So here's our appetito sausage, which I'm now just squeezing out of the little casing that it's in. People always get nervous and say, what is the casing? And I always say, you don't need to know. The truth of the matter is that if it's natural casing, for the most part, if you've ever had sausage or hot dogs, you've probably had casing. Even if it's a so-called skinless frank, it was made with casing and then steamed and put through a machine to pull it back out of the casing. Have to keep track of these ingredients, otherwise I'll be creating brand new recipes. So here's our mushroom. So this is going to be the pasta con la Norma. Little splash here with some juice. And I'm now going to just put my tomatoes, which I'm just kind of squishing up in here, and then I'm going to throw them in. Be careful when you squeeze the tomatoes. You want to put your finger through the tomato before you squeeze it. Otherwise, see that one just popped out a little bit. If you're working alone, they always squirt right on you. If you're working and there's somebody watching you or talking to you, or if you happen to be cooking for your boss or somebody important, you know that it's going to definitely squirt them. So there's our tomatoes. Lots of quick hand washes. I have some basil and some oregano and a little bit of thyme to put with the con la Norma. Just pulling the little leaves off the thyme. The stems are a little stiff, and I'm just coarsely chopping through the basil and the oregano. And I won't over chop the basil because basil gets bruised very easily. So this goes in here also. Okay, now as I said, it'll be a juggling act. Getting our sausage pressed down so we can start breaking that up and chopping it. So I hope everybody had a good summer. Our weather wasn't too bad this summer. People say we didn't get a whole lot of rain, but I don't see the lawns quite as brown as in future years. Okay, a little bit. These are Peppadews, little peppers that you can get either sweet or hot. These are, and it's funny because the hot ones are called hot sweet peppers. So they actually just season them up a little bit. And they're vinegar-based brine that they're in. And that is going to go with the mushroom pasta. Our mushrooms are starting to really wilt down. Drop my towel. And now, so remember I had garlic and onion and the pancetta. Put the mushrooms, the peppers, now some capers. Capers are little flower buds. They come either salted or brined. I'm putting some diced tomatoes. And I'm putting some tomato paste. And we'll add more if needed, and a little bit of water. And folks, I know I'm going to be mixing up spoons, and you know, one has meat and one doesn't, but you know, we're doing this for filming, and it's not like I'm cooking specifically for 4 separate people here. So I'll do the best I can to keep them separate so I don't mix up the meat, because when you're at home, maybe somebody doesn't eat the pork, or somebody is allergic to one of the items that you're in. Maybe I'll try keeping my spoons close to where the actual pot is. See, the sausage will get nice and chunky. All coming together. This is another one that's going to get tomatoes, so we're going to have to squish up our tomatoes. And again, I'm trying to poke my fingers through the tomatoes first so that it doesn't, I mean, I'm just hoping I don't get a big blast of tomato up in my eye. Kind of nice, therapeutic squeezing tomatoes. Okay. I think I'm ready to take my eggplant and onions off. Oh, yes. And what I'm going to do is to put some extra virgin olive oil over them. While I don't heat extra virgin olive oil, I certainly like to drizzle it on just about everything that I value. I'll move this off to the side. Okay. This is going to get tossed with our eggplant, and onion will go along with that quick kind of a marinara sauce that we're making. Another little bit of basil. Okay, put a little bit, we got it in there, got a little bit here, and some right in there. Okay. So let's see, this one's further up, so that's this and that's this. All looking good. I'm looking around. I think I used up all of my ingredients. This one's a winner. They're all winners, but this one, you can just eat a big bowl of this and not really have anything else. Now I have my pasta all cooked. So I'm going to start getting ready. Pasta is all pre-cooked. I'm going to just rewarm it, adding a little salt to my water. start getting rid of some things, or getting them off to the side. See, I do keep cheat notes. You always need cheat notes. Got two, and here's our third. I like to get every last piece of pasta. And I think I truly did. I think I'm even kind of evened out. Okay, last stir on everything. Okay, let me just take another look and a stir. I'm going to leave that one to last. Okay, so this is going to be the con la Norma. And the eggplant and onion. Certainly is a dish fit for a king. Oh, lost one. That's okay. And our pine nuts that have been toasting. Our Adlib pasta. And our wonderful Ragu. Oh boy, this is a feast. I can smell that wonderful vinegar flavor from those Peppadew peppers. Folks, we're fighting the clock. We're like down to the last minute. Will he make it? I think so. And I will have one more little addition to all of these dishes, and I'm sure if you've ever watched me before, heard me talk about my dear mother-in-law who, God rest her soul, left us right after Thanksgiving, but was spunky right up until the end. She could never get enough cheese. Let me just get this. Couldn't throw it away. It's too good. She always said, there's never enough cheese. And if you ever had her cooking, you'd taste that wonderful cheese. But her recipes live on, and I've done some here. So we've got cheese on both. We've got our Ragu with the Fennel, our Adlib sauce, and our pasta con la Norma. I'm David Martone, Executive Chef at Classic Time, and thank you for joining me for 3 wonderful pastas.